Hey everybody, Mike Shreve here. Welcome to our third and final class here in our three-part mini-series. I have got some good stuff for you tonight. Oh my gosh, this is probably the best one that we've done of the three, and that is because what I'm going to teach you tonight will in fact be critical to your success in 2018, especially if you are focusing, if you're a client getting focused in the next 6 months, 90 days, however you break up your goals, if it is to get people who can afford to pay your higher prices, I'm going to show you how to do that tonight, okay? So tonight is all about finding clients who can pay. Now, in order to do that, my good friends, in order for us to find clients who can pay, we're going to have some pretty major breakthroughs in terms of how you approach the discussions, the understanding of who these people are, all kinds of good stuff like that. But before we get into that, I just want to make sure and check in with everybody. If you could just throw into the should be the Facebook chat box here, just a quick hello to say whether you're here or not. Okay, I see Hannah, I see Lindsay, I see Kathy, I see Kat, I see Tamara, Laura. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so it looks like sound is working. That's a good thing. Alrighty, my friends, I see Krista, I see Nicole. We also have a bunch of No Pants Project members here tonight, especially. We have Ron and Kate McKnight, who are part of the No Pants Project Academy, which is what we're going to be releasing at the end of this. Is kind of like a launch party, awesome celebration. Ron and Kate tonight are going to be super active in answering your questions and all that kind of good stuff, because we're just going to have a good time tonight, okay? What we're going to be covering right now, like I said before, if you can get this right, what we're going to be talking about today, if you can get what I'm going to show you right in 2018, I promise you, you will see the biggest gains in your freelancing career if you can get this right, which is finding clients who are willing to pay your price, okay? I see Steve and Ron and Barbara and Himmler. Okay, let's rock and roll, you guys. Okay, 3 things that we're going to be talking about, because we got lots to cover. Oh, also, I've got a ton of books to give away. These are some of the best books. We've got Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. We've got Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. I've got this really cool book that is honestly not as popular as it should be, but it's impossible to ignore. It's Creating Memorable Content to Influence Decisions. We're talking about The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. These are all the books that we're going to be giving away today, and the reason that we're giving them away tonight is because this is the stuff that we're going to be covering, okay? Plus, we got Amazon gift cards and all kinds of really neat stuff, and I'm jazzed. I'm super excited for tonight, so let's rock and roll, okay? I'm going to change colors really quick. 3 things that we are going to be talking about tonight. Number 1, super, super important, is the psychology of what I call premium clients. These are the clients who have no problem paying you what you're worth. These are the clients who, on their list of things that they want, cheap is not even in the top 25. These are value buyers. These are the people who want results. We'll talk all about that, but we're going to talk about the psychology. Who are they? How do they think? How do they operate? What are they looking for when they're trying to shop for freelancers? Number 2, of course, is once you understand how they think, you have to then figure and think about how to build trust with that client. So how are we going to build their trust? So once we understand them and we can talk to them and we know what they're thinking, we need to have some tools that we can build their trust so that we are seen as the solution to their problem. And then lastly, I'm going to give you some of the mechanisms. Basically, we're going to talk about some math. We're going to talk about the numbers you can expect. We're going to talk about some of the tools you can use to make all of this happen, okay? And then plus at the end, we're going to launch MPA, so it's going to be super, super fun. So get your notes ready. I see we still got people coming. Da-da-dum. And Hannah has already got the book list ready. Okay, awesome. Let's see. Just checking all of my little technology here to make sure that we are good to rock and roll. Looks good, looks good, looks good. How you guys doing tonight? It's Wednesday night. It's middle of the week. Everyone good? Let's see. I feel great. This is awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. Good stuff. Okay. Part 1. Let's talk about the psychology of who a premium client is. So one of the things that a lot of freelancers make mistakes about is that when they're out there prospecting or they're out there building their business, they think, I'm gonna target a specific niche, and they double triple down on the niche instead of the psychology, or what we call psychographics, of who it is that you're targeting, not what it is that you're targeting, right? So a restaurant owner is a what. The person behind the title is the who. And you sell, the person who pays you is a who. It's not a what. Okay, you don't get paid by a job title. You get paid by a human being. So we need to understand their psychology. Now, the people who can afford you are typically in leadership positions. So maybe they're hiring managers, they're decision makers, or they're business owners themselves. Or they are individuals, say that you're a coach, who have achieved some kind of level of success in order to afford your more premium prices, okay? So what we're talking about here is, what's the psychology of people successful enough to hire us at the level that we want to be hired at, to pay the prices. So if you remember the price circle yesterday, the price power, so that they can pay us enough so that we can have the peace of mind to do the best job that we possibly can for them as freelancers so that they get results, right? Here's the deal. Here's the psychology. And this is coming from experience. It's also coming from a lot of research, but specifically, this is coming from, I want you guys to hear a little bit of my last year with some of these clients. First class plane tickets they purchased. 2-week vacation someone gave me, like they paid for it. Sending me awesome Christmas gifts. One of them flew me out to Boston to eat at a Mario Batali restaurant. I mean, like, these are the kind of clients. And I'm not saying this to brag. It's not me. I'm going to teach you how I got these clients. But those are the kind of clients that are out there waiting for good freelancers. If you are good, if you care about what you do, though, you should be working with those kinds of clients, not the cheap, underhanded. They're going to, they're always trying to squeeze you for money and things like that. Okay. So that's what we're trying to do here, is get you to that position. Here is the psychology. Let me talk to you about who these people are. First off is, many of these successful people, whether they're in corporate, right? If you have corporate clients or small business clients, if they're a decision owner, or whether they stand alone and they sell their own stuff, they are basically what I would call bootstrappers. And what I mean by this is, they pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps most of the time. Okay, when we're talking about premium clients who can afford you. And they are typically a little bit more experienced in this bootstrapping process, which means that they have battle scars, okay? Now, we're going to talk a lot about battle scars today, because if you know anything about me and how I teach the prospecting process and prospecting method, it's emotion to emotion. This battle scar piece, knowing that most of them have been hurt or scammed or ripped off or something in the past, that's important for you to know. It is a way in for you to have a conversation with a stranger in which you can use empathy and compassion, and you don't have to rely on sleazy sales tricks. Because if you can talk to them on this level, they will trust you. We're going to talk all about this tonight. Lots of cool techniques and strategies and cool stuff that you can use there. Now, because they have basically pulled themselves up from their bootstraps, and because they have these battle scars, there are some other psychological elements to who they are. They have pride. A lot of freelancers confuse pride for arrogance, because a freelancer is creative, they have their ideas, they want to get their ideas out there, and when they work with these sort of higher level type people, the people who can actually afford to pay you, they confuse pride for arrogance. But you have to understand that this pride is coming from the fact that they've been in business for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and that's not easy, right? It's not easy to stay in business for that long. And so they have some pride. What that means, though, is if you can understand that, if you can have empathy for that, if you can put yourself in their shoes and say, you know what, I get why they're saying this. It becomes a tool for you. Not to manipulate them, not to take advantage of them, but for you to have a full understanding of the situation so that you can communicate with them in a better way. And we're going to talk about all of these later. I'm going to go specifically through these a little bit later, but so they're proud of what they have done. They want to protect it. They want to nurture it. They care about it like it's their child. And you, as a new freelancer, are a stranger. How would you feel about a stranger coming in and telling your child what to do? I mean, I had a freelancer not that long ago come in and tell me I was making all these bad decisions and doing all these things. And I was like, but it's my baby, right? It's not a good way to build trust if you just jump into a situation and start beating on their pride. It's also why a lot of the methods that are taught in prospecting, where you say, go find a bunch of people and then tell them they suck at something and like make them feel bad about themselves, and then you'll be able to get them, like those kinds of high pressure sales tactics, they don't work on people who know what they're doing, who can afford to pay you what you are worth. Because the problem with those methods is it damages the pride straight away. Okay, so that's important to know. See how these things can, once you understand the psychology, you're like, oh, that's why it's not working. Okay, now, because they have lifted themselves up, even in a corporate situation, they fought through the layoffs and all these different things, and they've made it to this position, and they're a decision maker now, and or whether they're a business owner, or whether they're just a successful person who can afford your, I think somebody was talking about beauty services yesterday, they can afford your beauty services, okay? They have these battle scars, and they have pride. Now, because of these things, what happens then is they have, let me say, I'm kind of melding a few here together. Part of this pride means that they almost kind of seclude themselves into certain social circles. Now, particularly, these social circles are people that also understand this, but more importantly, understand this and this. Now, what that means is people who can afford you hang out with other people who can afford you. Okay? So there's a lot of things you can do with that, right? Obviously, getting an endorsement from someone that these kinds of people respect is like a massive foot in the door, right? But more importantly, what it means is if you research how these people think, you can, as a human person, act like these people act. So if this person is hanging out with a type A and you are a type B, it is likely that those two things are not going to work out. It's why I'm always asking, who do you want to serve? And be you as you can possibly be. The good news is that when you are more you, and we're going to talk all about this later, but when you are more you are authentic, you are genuine, you are open about the things that you believe in and don't believe in and all these sorts of things, the social aspect of what we're talking about here is the psychology of a successful person. That social aspect weighs very heavily. We're going to talk about it more in a second. But don't downplay the fact that many of these successful people are, when they hire, looking at social aspects as much as anything else. It's why whenever in any of my coaching programs, if someone comes to me and says, Mike, look at I listed all my superpowers, I don't have any big technical skills, and I see on their sheet that they have like good communication skills, they know how to be respectful, they know how to turn stuff in on time, I'm like, holy smokes, you're an amazing freelancer, right? We're going to talk in a little bit about how I've been burned in the past about 3 or 4 months. We're going to give you some real good examples. So if you have these skills, even the skill of just being respectful to someone, it goes a long way. We're going to talk all about that later. Now, because they kind of hang out in these circles and they're all like the same kind of people generally in what they value and who they value, they end up having what I like to call grand visions. And this can be problematic for most freelancers because most freelancers are like, here's my tiny little piece of the puzzle, and I don't want to think outside of that. It's fine if that's your responsibility, but you must understand that you are communicating with people who have very big visions. The people who can afford you typically are like, I mean, I once had a client whose grand vision was put people on the moon, extend the human lifespan to, I think it was 150 years within the next 15 years. Like, we're talking about like big visions, okay? So one of the things that you can do as a freelancer to communicate with these individuals in a better way so that you become attractive to them is to understand their grand visions, meaning learning to understand how your role plays in their big vision, and understanding that you're not just a cog in a machine, but an actual team member helping this bigger thing occur, and to act accordingly. Don't look. People who have grand visions do not have time for someone who's just going to come in and basically, I don't have a good way to say this, suck off the hose of their work. Like, they don't have time for people who are holding them back, is what I'm trying to say, okay? So understand they've got grand visions and be ready to be a player that helps push them towards the grand vision, not just kind of like needily, like I'm always doing this example of like a cat that just kind of like comes in and paws at you and like lays on you and like, give me money, right? Like, it can't be that way if you want to work with the premium clients, okay? Now, at the same time that they have these grand visions and unbelievable optimism, they have more than anyone a skeptical approach to most promises, okay? What that means is, and we're going to talk about it all tonight, if you want the premium clients, guess what? It's going to take some extra work to overcome their skepticism because they've been burned in the past. And we're going to talk about that a ton tonight. They have been burned in the past, okay? If you have a business owner, if you know a business owner, after this training, just send them an email and be like, hey, man, I feel for you. I can't believe you've been successful for this long. That's amazing. It is my contention that most successful business owners who last 10, 15, 20 years, they simply get there because they have an unbelievable, unbreakable spirit, and they are just amazing at having a bunch of stuff dumped on them, and they keep going anyways. But this skepticism, it's important to know if you're going to work with these clients. And last, actually I got two more. One is loyalty. So can you see that? Loyalty above all else. I mean, because they've been burned so much, they think differently than most people. Things that you think are important to them may not be, right? And so it's important for you to understand, like, loyalty is very important. How can I demonstrate loyalty to this person? How can I build loyalty into my business? How can I message when I'm doing my marketing, when I'm sending my daily emails, when I'm doing a live video like this, when I'm blogging or whatever? That loyalty is also important to me. That's very important. And then number 8 is they consume completely different information than you and I. Oh, you can't even see that. There it is. Okay. So they consume different information than most people. And here's what I mean. They typically aren't sitting there watching shows. And so if you come into them and you're like, hey, did you watch last night's Game of Thrones? It can be, that's not what they're interested in. That's not what they're talking about. That's not what they're doing, right? So you have to understand the social dynamics. There's been several studies by several different people examining the bookshelves of successful business owners, successful CEOs, successful decision makers, successful people who can afford the kind of stuff that we're talking about. The kind of books that they have on their bookshelves are these, like the ones I'm giving away tonight. There's a reason that I'm giving these away tonight, because I want you guys to start consuming this information so that you can understand how they view the world. Imagine going to a different country without knowing a lick of English, of that country's language or culture, and then trying to turn them into a client, right? Like if you tried to turn someone into a client who, like you're in Japan or something, and you don't know that you're, like, for example, I saw this the other day on YouTube. I guess in Japan, like if you don't show up with a business card, it's like really weird. And this guy didn't know that, and he showed up to a bunch of meetings and he didn't have a business card, right? And so it was a bad thing. So same thing here. Premium clients, you need to understand their culture and their psychology so that you can operate appropriately, so that they see you as one of their own. And let me tell you, I'm not talking about changing who you are. Not at all. We're going to talk about how important authenticity is to this particular type of client. I'm talking about understanding the rules of the game. More importantly than that, understanding through empathetic means what it is that these people need so you can serve them in your authentic way so that they will pay you the fees that you ask for. Okay, my friends, so that's who the client is, more or less. Quick drink. That's the psychology behind who they are. What the premium client wants is something altogether different. Now, I'm going to talk about these very quickly, then we're going to jump to the most important one, and then we'll jump back to them individually, so hang on tight here. I'm going to give you the most common reasons or objections or concerns or worries of premium clients, okay? Number one is authenticity. This is so important to premium clients. Remember what I talked about before? They've been burned in the past, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Authenticity to me is character, meaning who is this person? A premium client is most concerned with is this person who they say that they are. So when you're doing stuff out on the interwebs and you're saying things like, making claims, or saying you did something for someone when you really didn't do it, or saying I'm an expert in this field and you're not even doing it for yourself, right? The cobbler's sons have no shoes. These sorts of things. Premium clients look for this. It is important to them that there is some continuing authenticity, some consistent character in who they work with. And yes, I'm even talking about the premium clients who maybe they themselves aren't fully authentic because they've been burned so often. This is important to them. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So number one is authenticity. Number two is believability. It's basically the same thing. They're asking, is what this person's saying true? So again, we're going to break these down individually. I'm going to give you tools for what you can do to execute on each of these things, but this is just the broad overview. Believability is what this person's saying true in the process and in our conversations. This is what they're looking for. Specifically, credibility. Now, some of you get clients and this isn't even part of the process. Like if you're on Upwork, this believability isn't even part of the process. It's kind of built in when you have like some work experience on Upwork, but I'm going to show you how to get the really big clients by simply plugging more of this into your process. It will change who you work with if you can just work on this a little bit. Okay, next is consistency. And really what we're talking about is the freelancer wants to, or the client wants to know, is this person a safe bet for my business. And it's so much more than money, you guys. Like, you have to, you have to be able to get out of that thinking of where you are at right now and try to put yourself in the shoes of these people who have achieved a bunch of stuff. Money is important to them, meaning they want to know, if I hire this person, are they going to consistently deliver? But it's stuff like, if I hire this person, are they going to show up tomorrow? Are they going to continually bring the same energy to the playing field every single day? When they mess up, are they consistently going to come back and say, hey, I messed up? Are they going to consistently improve? These are the things that are important. Is this person a safe bet? Is the question that they're asking. And there are things you can do to build into your business and your process that can confirm that for clients. We're going to talk about that. Number 4 is what I like to call doctor and diagnosis. So I'm just going to call it doc and diagnose. This is basically freelancer or clients want to know, are you the right choice to solve their problem? Okay. Not are you the cheapest, but are you the right choice for solving their problem? I'm going to give you some really cool tips about this on how to change your entire sales process, because I guarantee you right now, most of you are not doing the doctor diagnosis. You're sort of like, here's my stuff, buy it. Instead of, let's talk about what you need. That simple tweak in approach to a prospective client. Imagine that you're on the other end, okay? We're going to do a little role playing here live, okay? Everybody ready? Okay. Let's say that you have a problem, okay? Whatever that problem is. Let's say your problem is you need more clients. Instead of me saying, here's my thing, buy it. What if I was to come to you and say, tell me about it. Talk to me. What's going on? What are you struggling with? What are the parts that are frustrating you the most? How is this affecting like the other parts of your business? Okay, great. Interesting. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm actually going to have something for you that will clearly solve this, this, and this. Isn't that different? Doesn't it feel different? Doesn't it feel like I care? Isn't it more believable? Isn't it authentic? Like, it's a small tweak in how you position yourself. And we're going to talk all about it a little bit later, go into more depth, but doctor and diagnosing. And then the second to last, before we get to the most important of all times, is, do I know enough? This is the clients talking now. Do I know enough about what I'm about to get into? Okay. I call it solid on purchase. You could also call it clarity. Because, remember the psychology, because they've been burned in the past, if they do not have the clarity of what exactly they're paying their money for, or more importantly, who exactly they are letting into their baby's sphere, aka their business, aka whatever intimate thing you do for other people in your service-based business, if they don't have a feeling or a sense of, I know exactly what's going to happen, I know exactly what my expectations are, premium clients don't go. They will not work with you unless they know this, because they've just been burned too much in the past. And that is our very last one, number 7. They most of all don't want to get ripped off. Okay? That's the most important one. And this is their biggest concern, okay? See, not getting screwed. Okay, so I promised that I was going to call some people out on their shenanigans tonight. It's going to go down right now. So grab the popcorn. So, like I said, people who have been in business long enough, just because people are people, communication happens, regardless of whether they're a good person or a bad person, eventually they get screwed over by somebody. Okay. I've only been in business really for 7 years. And I'm not talking about freelancing. I'm talking about like trying to start like businesses and companies and things. I'm going to give you some examples. The first example is one that a lot of people don't know about because I don't talk about. it was actually the second time I was homeless, but this time I wasn't real homeless. I had a wife and kid, and so we went and lived with my parents after this happened. Brought on a partner to run a pay-for-performance SEO business. You may have even seen some interviews from, I think it was back in 2012. I did some interviews about how successful our pay-for-performance business was going. Pay-for-performance SEO, this was back before like Google Panda and all that kind of stuff. Brought on a partner. The partner, within 30 days, and without my knowledge, managed to completely obliterate the business. I was so early and new in the business world that, I mean, this was like my first real company that I tried to start outside of like freelancing, that I had no idea what was going on, lost everything, more than $130,000 just up and vanished. Everything I had gone, completely gone. Reputation, all the clients, it was a nightmare, literally a nightmare, to the point where, I mean, even sometimes now I will have dreams about that event, okay? This is just little old me we're talking about. Fast forward to now and the past 3 months, just the past 3 months, okay? I have a freelancer, generously paying this freelancer, works a month and a half. We're talking partnership deals, royalty splits, percentages, awesome. 2 days before a launch, texts me, can't do it, don't want to do it anymore, disappears for a week. Nobody knows where the heck the person is, shows up a week later, hey, I want back in. Left an entire product launch on my shoulders 2 days before. It's just little old me we're talking about. It's like, this ain't no big thing, right? Like, I'm not a big successful person. But you can see, like, if these things keep happening over and over and over again, you start to develop a distrust. You cannot help yourself. You become more protective. You become more just cautious and skeptical. So that happened recently. Then you've got I have this other freelancer who I had invested thousands and thousands of dollars in, both paying, getting clients for, I'd pay for training, et cetera, et cetera. We talked to this person. We're talking all about all of the different like promises that we're going to make, and you're going to be here on this time, and when this shows up, and all sorts of promises. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, sends a text message, not even a text message, it was a Skype message, quits. Even after promises, and I was starting to draft contracts, and nuts. This is just in the past 3 months. Another person hires every single day, says I'm doing 14 hours a day. I'm like, that's first off insane. I would never ask someone who works for me to do 14 hours a day. Doing 14 hours a day, talking about all these different things. It turns out that when we actually investigated what was going on, none of the work was getting done. Bad mouthing the company and us under our supervision. Like, we were unknowingly like putting her in situations where she could badmouth people. It was crazy. Basically just straight up lied for like 3 months. And then we finally found out that person's no longer with us. I have right now people who I've brought onto certain teams and certain businesses who owe me part of their contract that I have paid multiple times on an incomplete contract, still wanting more. Okay? I'm nobody. I'm not even a fish in the pond. I'm like the bacteria in the pond. And those are just examples from the past 3 months. Span that out over 7 years, which is how long I've basically been trying to build companies and do these types of things. You can see why not getting screwed is like the path to premium clients. If you want to get paid really, really well, your job should be, how can I demonstrate to people in whatever it is that I'm doing that I will not take advantage of them, that I will not screw them, that I will not hurt them, that I will not disappoint them, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks here on how to earn their trust before money is exchanged. Now, after money is exchanged, that's a whole different training. I may actually do that on Thursday or Friday, all about the power of service. One thing that you have to understand is that premium buyers, this is kind of a side note, premium buyers don't buy products and services, they buy service. Does that make sense? They buy the red carpet strategy. They buy the velvet rope, like executive entrance, that kind of stuff. That's what they buy. Okay. So that's totally a different training for a different time about premium service and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that you can definitely help them to feel like they're not going to get, taken advantage of is professionalism. This means, and trust me, you guys, having hired tons of freelancers, having hired freelancers for my clients in the past, it's crazy to me how unprofessional many freelancers are. Now, what do I mean by professional? I don't mean wear a suit. I don't wear pants. You guys, I'll see if I can lift my leg up this high. I am, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. Let's see. I am actually in my pajamas. Okay. I really do actually wear no pants when I do stuff. Okay. So I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about being stuffy and stuffed up and all that. I'm talking about your reports. Are you clearly communicating and reporting to your clients? Is there onboarding process stuff in what you do? Is it a nice, well put together? It doesn't have to be fancy and designed, but is it clean? Is it, like if somebody says, do you have a services sheet? Is it, written instead of just like bungled together and like copy and pasted like it doesn't matter, like you don't care, right? So your reports that you do, punctuality. If you say you're going to be somewhere, right? Like this kind of stuff matters, and it's consistent signs that people can see that, okay, I'm not going to get screwed by this person. How you talk to potential premium clients and customers. I got to say this again and again. Look, I know it's fun and sexy and cool and like, haha, isn't it so entertaining to watch guys like Gary Vee and Dan Kennedy and like all these sorts of like big time guys, how they talk down to people. I'm telling you guys, I've been in meetings with these people who are on the outside hardcore. When they are talking to prospective clients, I promise you, they are not that way. They are respectful. They don't threaten. They don't talk down to people. They're not talking about, well, I'm going to take my services elsewhere. It's not how it works. It's not how it works at this level. At the lower levels where people are kind of like fighting for table scraps and it gets ugly like that, maybe, but not at the high level, not where you want to be, not where you want to live. Do you really want to be in a situation where everything's contentious all the time? No, of course not. So don't start it, right? Most freelancers aren't even necessarily skill-wise to that point where they should be doing that anyways, right? I mean, you got to be pretty dang good to be talking like, I don't know, just being all sassy, okay? So, respectful tone of voice, communication style. This came from Krista, you don't get to shirk professionalism just because you're a freelancer, okay? Remember what I talked about yesterday. If you're a freelancer, you guys, you're a business owner. You're not an employee. You don't get the same privileges of an employee. Look, an employee can be, has anyone worked in the service industry before? You know how much you can get away with as an employee if you work in the service industry, right? Not you, but you're like the other people in the in the company. You got to know what you can get away with. You can't get away with that as a freelancer. You're a business owner. Present yourself like a business. Again, it doesn't have to be professional and suit and tie. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be who you are. I'm not wearing a suit and tie. I wear a button up, but only because if I wore a t-shirt, you see my skinny arms. And that's actually the true story. You see my skinny, pasty little arms, and so I put long sleeve button ups on, right? Like this is me being authentic, but it's professional at the same time. Okay? So you don't get to shirk it. Let me give you one last example on professionalism. Just because it's a food truck doesn't mean it doesn't get to also have to be forced to follow like food code stuff, right? I mean, think about how pissed you would be if you went to a food truck and it got you super sick. which is exactly what I did last week in Bend. Food truck, super sick, bummer. But then in Portland, where I live, the food trucks, I would prefer those food trucks over fancy restaurants. And it's because the food trucks here, they operate like machines. You know what I'm saying? So professionalism, it doesn't matter how big or small you are, it matters to people who are willing to pay you money. Remember, they are not buyers of services and products, they are buyers of service. So think about that in your business. Where are you failing here? Are you sending like half-done reports? Are you even doing reporting? Are you doing, a scheduled meeting? Like if you need communication, are you scheduling a meeting and having the meeting and like being proactive and being a professional and helping them to push their vision forward? These are things you have to think about. Okay, number 2. This is my favorite thing to do, and I'm going to give you some ways that you can do this. Demonstration of power. Yes. The demonstration of power is without a doubt, I need a thesaurus. The demonstration of power is the most powerful thing you can do for helping people to understand that they're not going to get screwed. Here's the demonstration of power. There's lots of different ways that you can do it, but it comes down to this. I'm going to show you right now that I can help you. If you've ever seen the Netflix documentary, I Am Not Your Guru, okay, first off, one of the best marketing pieces I've ever seen ever was that documentary. That was a straight up marketing job, okay? Go watch it on Netflix. Understanding the demonstration of power concept. What does Tony Robbins do when he walks into the crowd? Stand up. I'm going to change your life right now. Have you ever noticed that there's no follow-up after that of like whether the person's life has actually been changed or not? It's called a demonstration of power. It's called a room full of people see Tony Robbins stand up and he changes their life. He does his the physical state change stuff that he does and like hits himself and pats his kidneys and all that. And supposedly this person's life has changed. Everyone in that room sees that as a miracle. And that's what these are. When you can perform miracles in public, that's when the premium buyer understands that they're in good hands. Now, how in the heck do you do demonstrations of power? How do you work miracles in public? Well, there's a couple things you can do. If you're in our Fast Client Getting Workshop program, we teach the discovery call process. That is a demonstration of power. It basically goes like this. You get on a call with a stranger. You simply do the doctor and diagnosis thing that I talked about where you figure out what their problems are. You take the problems, you show it back to them, and you say, I have the prescription. That's a miracle for a lot of people because most people are stuck in their heads, right? They're looking for clarity. They're looking for understanding. They're looking for the next step. And if they come into the call and they're very confused and like, I don't know what's going on. And then by the end of the call, it's like, I know exactly what I need to do. That's a miracle for them. It doesn't have to be these huge, sweeping, life-changing miracles. It's just a change from point A to point B. Another one is if you have results and your client gives you the okay, don't be sharing personal client information out there. That's insanity. That'll actually drive these people away, right? So you have to be careful about what you share out in public because some of these premium buyers, if they're very cautious about that, okay? So get a testimonial, interview one of your old clients that you got really good results for, whatever that is, and then share that publicly. That is a demonstration of power. And I don't mean demonstration of like what do they call those Nazi boots? Boot heels or whatever. I'm not talking about like Stalinistic demonstration of power. I mean demonstration of your superpowers. Right? So show people what your superpowers do, that you are a miracle worker. All right? If you're in the daily email program, if you're in the No Pants Project program where we talk about the daily email, the best place to talk about your clients is in your daily email. Hey, today one of my students got a really great result. One of my clients got a really great result. Here's what we did, ABC. I love doing this. I can't wait for it. Okay? What that brings up next then is number 3, is that frequency equals familiar. Okay. So think about when you think about your job. Think about going to school or church or any of these things where you're around a lot of people frequently and for a long time. They are familiar to you. The path to familiarity, which is familiarity could also be called trust, is frequency. It's why I recommend daily emails and solid, consistent follow-up. Because frequency is familiar. It's why I'm doing my Facebook Lives every day for No Pants. It's why we're spending a lot of our ad budget in No Pants now on just putting me in front of people, whether there's an objective to it or not. Now, that's outside of freelancing, so I don't want to give you any kind of like get too far ahead, but frequency equals familiarity. Familiarity breeds trust. This is why this works, okay? It is almost more important than anything else in terms of if you don't have this, you got none of this anyways. What it also means is that the premium client takes a little bit longer to become a client, okay? We're going to talk about mechanisms here, but if you saw yesterday's training or the day before training, or you've seen the Greasy Math videos or any of these other trainings, you'll know that to compensate for how long it takes them to purchase, you have to build in steps along the way in which you can profit. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, but that's sort of the idea here, where frequency is familiarity. Okay? Let me take a real quick drink. See how you guys are doing. What do you think so far? Let me know in the comments. Hannah says, hey, I've been doing the frequency thing with my art and I've been getting more feedback with each day. Bastian's talking about that's why pixel dailies work so much. Yeah, Bastian's a student in the No Pants project. He was talking about pixel dailies the other day. Like, notice like a lot of people who are super like that you know and you recognize, Gary Vaynerchuk, Casey Neistat, like all of the Oatmeal. I don't know if the Oatmeal still does daily comics, but like all of these daily guys, there's a reason you know them, and it's because of their frequency. Lauren says, I'm a severe introvert. The cool thing about this, Lauren, is that none of this so far that we've talked about requires any extroversion at all. And we'll talk about the mechanisms a little bit later. So for those of you who are introverts and you're like, oh my gosh, Mike's telling me to go be on stage. Not at all. Not at all. We'll talk about the mechanisms of how to make this happen. As a matter of fact, I personally believe that introverts may be slightly better at having the ability to pull this off because of them, like, for example, in the daily email, again, we'll talk more about this later, but in like the daily emails, it's a little bit more of like an intimate email rather than some big thing that is sort of mass marketed. It's more of a one-on-one. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Okay, so professionalism, demonstration of power, frequency equals familiarity, and then the last one is relationships. So, one of the biggest things that premium clients care about is relationships. They understand that above all other things in business, that business is just relationships. That's all it is. It's just, I have something to give you, you have something to give me. Let's trade this thing for some kind of value In the olden days, it was bartering amongst family. It was bartering amongst cousins. It was bartering amongst people in your village, which were most of the time your cousins. But that has been replaced with a monetary system. But that's all business is. It's just relationships. Therefore, the key to helping someone understand how not to get screwed, which is we're trying to help premium clients know how not to get screwed so they feel that about us, is the relationship you have with them. Okay? How much are you giving? Right? That's a good place to start with a relationship. And let me tell you right now, you don't have to, in 2018, you don't have to give one-on-one. We have had at any given time here tonight about 100 to 115 people on this Facebook Live. I'm giving to 100, 115 people at a time. Right? So in 2018, it doesn't have to be necessarily one-on-one. So don't worry about, for those of you who are introverted, like doing the things which just sucks the life out of you, right? Okay. So that is, that's the sort of core facets. Now let's go back to these objections really quick, and then we'll talk about mechanisms. You guys good to keep going? Still energy, still good, still high? Let's talk about these. Okay, first one, remember authenticity. True or not true, you trust people who are authentic, who are actually themselves, who say and do the things. And authenticity is like, you can tell whether someone is or isn't authentic, right? So what I want you to do, here's the key to making your premium clients believe that you are authentic. Ready? Here it goes. Groundbreaking stuff we're talking about here. Be yourself. Don't get hung up on what other people are saying or doing. In the No Pants Project program, I can't tell you how many times we've had students struggle with this piece and then have a massive breakthrough when they gave themselves the permission to be themselves. And by massive breakthrough, I mean got clients, right? Where they weren't able to before because it just comes across. Look, this is how I am. In this video, this is literally how I actually am, right? I mean, this isn't a show. This is the things that I get excited about. I get very easily excited, right? Those of you who work with me sometimes think that that's not necessarily a good thing because it means I'm kind of all over the place. But be yourself, right? That's it. That's the end. There's nothing else. That's how you deal with that. Have the courage to be yourself. It also means don't hide. Don't hide. I operate in a lot of circles where I name names and I say I don't like this person and I don't like the Lamborghini thing and I don't like the mansion renting and I'm not going to run my business this way and I'm not going to do it that way. I'm not going to run the No Pants Project a certain way because I think it's slimy and sleazy and I get crap for it all the time. I really do, because I have no problem not hiding the fact that for the most part, a lot of people in this industry are pretty skeezy. Like, I got no problem with that at all. And that attracts the people that I want to hang out with. And it repels everybody else. And I'm telling you, these premium clients, what I say, what's the most? Relationships. Not price, not value. It's relationships. They are looking for like-minded individuals to be a part of their bigger, grand vision. I got a huge vision for the No Pants Project, right? People on my team, I want them to have that same vision so we can go together, not just be hung back by somebody who doesn't want it to go that way. It's important. Don't hide who you are. If you're a nerd, be a nerd. If you're a jock, be a jock. You will find other nerds and jocks in 2018 that you can serve. You can trade and barter things and services with in exchange for monetary, whatever, okay? Cool. Done. Hopefully got it. Okay. Believability and credibility. Here's the thing for introverts. Again, I'm just going to put this right here. Don't hide your brilliance. I'm going to call some of you introverts out because I truly am. After this is done and I'm totally exhausted, I'm going to go to sleep. Well, probably not. I got a few things I got to do. I'm going to crash. I'm going to veg. I'm going to watch QI. I'm going to recover. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to take a day off. And then Friday, I'm going to go fly into Phoenix for some mastermind stuff. But I need you to understand, introverts. Listen up, please. Please, I'm begging you. Do not confuse sharing your brilliance with being extroverted. In 2018, you can take the brilliance that you have, put it on the internet, and then literally run away from the computer so that nobody says anything to you, right? So my point is, you cannot. So, sorry, I missed this part, but this is for believability, right? Believability and credibility. If you are not willing to share your brilliance with others, it's hard for people to know whether you are credible or not. My recommendation for introverts is the daily email, where you build an email list without having to talk to anyone. You get them on an email list. You don't have to talk to anyone. You send an email every day, not hiding your brilliance. Look, you can be, what's that word? It's the opposite of like self-aggrandizing. Somebody help me out here. I know we got a bunch of writers. Where you're kind of like poke fun at yourself a little bit. What's that called? Oh my gosh, guys. Anyways, it's okay in your daily emails to be goofy and like poke fun at yourself and ha ha ha. I don't know, that's fine, but you cannot hide your brilliance and expect people to just guess that that's what. How are they supposed to know if you don't share, right? Okay, so to deal with believable and credibility, I recommend just starting an email list and mailing them every day in service. Now, I could do a whole program on daily emails, and I am in the process of building that program. We also teach it in the No Pants Project, so there are nuances, of course, but that's it. Put your brilliance in your daily email. Talk about what you do. Talk about the results you get. Talk about how you help people. Don't hide your brilliance. You can still do it as an introvert. Okay, love you, introverts. Please don't. I didn't mean to be angry at you for a second. Okay, and listen, people love success stories. If you have a success story with a client, you are doing them a massive favor. It just like the dopamine in their brain explodes when they hear a success story. So don't be afraid. Again, don't be afraid to hide your brilliance. Share, share, share. Okay. Consistency. And when you share, just run away from the computer for like a day or something. I don't know. Okay. Consistency. This is about, here's how you can be consistent in your business. Okay. It's really, really this simple. Minimize the risk for flip-flopping. What I mean by that is, if you know you're not consistent about something, don't promise people it. If you know that your ideas are kind of changing around something, don't get on a Facebook Live and talk about it, and then 2 days later you're like, you know what, guys? I changed my mind. I don't actually believe it that way anymore. If you want to know an example, look at the No Pants Project, okay? We're fairly consistent. It's basically serve first, what we call a service ladder, which is kind of like the multiple offerings. We talk about a daily email. We talk about being you, and then we talk about lifestyle. These are things for me as a service provider in this particular business, and I've got my own for my copywriting business, that I don't really vary from. So I can be consistent when I'm talking to you guys. I have some ideas about some stuff that they're not fully formed yet. So I don't go around telling people, because that flip-floppy stuff, it makes you seem inconsistent. And the premium buyers They just won't buy from inconsistent people because they want to feel safe. They want to feel when they hire you, you're going to be you for the whole time. Okay. So next, this is one of my favorites. What was that? What number was that? I don't know. We'll say it's 4. All right. This is the doctor and diagnosis. Okay. Doctor and diagnosis. Very, very simple. Your job in the sales process is not to push a product, but to find their problem and give them a prescription for that problem. That's it. That's everything you need to know about selling to premium customers. Now there's nuances to that and how do you have the conversation and blah, 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 and that's fine. But honestly, from there, you can take that and go. You can say, am I in this conversation acting like a doctor and diagnosing a problem? Yes or no? If not, I need to get there. And then once I'm diagnosing that problem, am I offering prescriptions? It's why I recommend the business model that I do, which I'll show you here in a second. Because when you can control the choices, meaning when you're the one who has the cabinet full of prescriptions that will actually solve their problem, that is when you take an even more sort of powerful role as a doctor, when they trust you even more, okay? So we'll talk about that here in a second, but it's basically the business model that we have set up. And we've talked about it's going to be repeat for a lot of people, but it's still very important to visit in this context. Okay, lastly, number 5. Do I know enough about how what I'm getting myself into? So this is solid on purchase. Do I feel good about what I'm about to get? That's the question. Okay. So here's the things that you have to over deliver on clarity. Have the conversation. Okay. I just want to one more time. I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page. So here's what you're going to get when you hire me. Here's the promises. Here's my expectation, your expectation. Premium clients, you have that conversation. You think, oh, I'm going to bother them with that. They love that. They love that. One of the problems with premium clients is that they are all over the place, especially if they have like a team, right? And they've got a lot going on and they have their own ideas and all these different sorts of things. Helping them to have clarity and having that conversation where you say, let's have a conversation about clarity. Da-da-da-da-da-da. What you're doing is you're taking out of their head something that they can confidently say that person has handled. And that's like the biggest gift to these people, right? Like they'll be like, thank you so much. I don't want to deal with that anymore, right? Okay, clarity. Second, one of the ways that I really like to do this is through onboarding documents. So when you bring on a client, do you have a policy sheet? Do you have a communications policy sheet? Do you have a way to collect their information quickly and, very, very quickly? What's the process for when they say yes and they pay you to, onboarding? What is that process? Do you have documents? Do they look good? Are they clean? Are they efficient? Are you good about following up and making sure that they're done? All these sorts of things. And then more importantly than even the process of having them for the clients you close, talking about them to the clients you haven't closed yet. Right? Does that make sense? So, hey, and when you guys work with me, I have this whole onboarding process and it's very step-by-step and there's some stuff you have to fill out. That's impressive to premium clients, right? They think this person has their stuff together. They're not going to lose my information. I'm not going to come back to them again and again, all that kind of stuff. And then lastly, of course, solid on purchase is going to be our testimonials. Specifically, here's the thing about testimonials. Testimonials only work if they are specific. And what I mean by specific is not necessarily like, so you can have character testimonials, that's one thing. But if you have testimonials and you are trying to say, I can help you get blog traffic, and this testimonial is for like, she helped me do a graphic design, it's better that in this process, you just take that graphic design testimonial out and have fewer testimonials than mixing it all up and causing confusion. Someday I'll do a whole series on copywriting, but copy or the sales copy or all of those conversion mechanisms that are in place, the whole purpose that they exist is so that they reduce doubt, not cause more of it. So testimonials are specific. The best testimonial you can ever have is a testimonial that's about a certain pain that you relieved for a client that is the same pain that you are promising this new client that you will relieve. Okay, so for example, I had a coaching student just a while ago, and if she's on here, she'll know what I'm talking about. She was kind of like, okay, what should my website look like? Should it be this or should it be that? Should it be for chiropractors? Should I go more generic? And I said, if you have chiropractor testimonials, make your website about chiropractors, because when the chiropractor shows up and sees that you've helped other people exactly like him do exactly what he's trying to do, that's the most powerful testimonial. If you don't have these, put it on your to-do list for 2018. Remember, we're talking about stuff that you're going to work on in 2018. So some of this stuff is going to take some time. Some of it's going to take some effort. Some of it's going to take some work. But I promise if you do it, 2018 can absolutely be the year that you get the premium price that you see other people getting, that you have heard is possible, and that you frankly probably deserve. Most people deserve to work with premium clients, and there are plenty of them to go around. You just have to put in this work. You just have to do these things to set yourself apart from everybody who isn't doing these things. And premium clients are like, I guess I'll hire this person. I can't tell you how often I've had clients where that was their exact reaction to who was left to hire, right? Talent, and when I say talent, I don't mean like talented skills. I mean like someone who's considered like, wow, they're so cool, we're going to call them talent, like they call actors in Hollywood. That's talent. Take care of talent. They're rare. People who do this are really, really rare. And you stand out like a sore thumb amongst all of the other freelancers who are just like laissez-faire, I don't care, just shenanigans, right? Okay, now let's talk about mechanics. And then it's time for the No Pants Academy launch. And then after that, we'll do questions and answers and give away a bunch of cool books and all sorts of stuff. Let me take a quick temperature of the presentation. How are you guys doing? See, self-deprecation. You guys are so awesome. I missed it. Man, everybody knew that word. Okay. How you guys doing? You good? I love that you guys are helping each other in the comment section too. You guys are the best. All right, my friends. Oceana says, I like books. Me too. I love books. Okay, let's go on to the mechanics. This is very, very simple. Very, very simple. Here's what you need to understand about everything that we just talked about. It's so, if you can internalize this concept, I promise you can you can execute on everything else, regardless of whether you are an introvert, regardless of your extrovert, regardless of your look good, regardless of your like should be a radio personality instead of on camera. You can do this as long as you understand this fundamental concept. Most people are wrong. The end. Okay, bye. No, most people are wrong. What I mean by that is that most people are not premium clients. And most people will say no to you. Once you can understand that, look, like I said, we've had flex up and down, probably 100 people on this video at a time, 100, 115, whatever. The video we did yesterday already has like 3,500 views. Most of those people will never work with me. Most of them, like 98%. simply won't work with me for some reason or another. Either they don't like me, either for whatever reason I wasn't able to convince them to work with me, for they aren't a good fit from my standpoint, like I don't want to work with them, they don't qualify as premium customers and clients for me, etc., etc. 98%. As soon as you can be emotionally okay with that, and it does take time, so I'm not saying snap, get with the program right now. As soon as you can get okay with that and understand that for the most part, no is the answer for you and to you, then you realize this is just a numbers game. Meaning, your role is not to try to close a bunch of clients really quick. Your role is to filter through as many potential opportunities as possible until you find the right opportunities. I'm going to give you an example, and some of this is going to freak you guys out, but this is actually me doing what I'm telling you right now. We have a student in the Fast Client Getting Workshop, a program that if you take out the week of Christmas when everyone was on holiday, is only 30 days old. Okay, so the Fast Client Getting Workshop is really only like a month old, like a month and a week, basically. In 30 days, this student sent out 780 emails using this method and was able to land 4 clients. Some of you are going to be like, Mike, your stuff doesn't work. Those of you who have experience in this game are going to say, holy cow, 4 clients out of 780, that's pretty good. But watch this. 4 clients at, and I'm going to botch the euro sign, more or less $1,500 per month. In 30 days, from a program that didn't exist to 4 clients at $1,500 euros per month. Y'all can get out your calculators and convert euros to American dollars, et cetera, et cetera. But I want you to understand that if you can be emotionally okay with this number and the relationship it has with this number, if you can be okay with that emotionally, everything I just showed you is 100% possible. True or not true, $1,500 euros per month is pretty dang good, right? I would consider that a decently premium client. And the time and effort that this student's going to have to put in for each of these clients isn't like insane. He could take on probably 3 or 4 times as many clients and still not even necessarily be going full time, right? I'm actually curious. What is that? I should have done my math before. Dollars to euros. Okay. So someone says it's about 7,390 US dollars per month. Okay, let's just say 7K a month. In 30 days, 0 to this. You have, if you can be okay with this, this can happen. Okay? Another thing to consider, another story from one of my students. I don't know, can you see it down here? In the No Pants Project coaching program where we talk about the daily email process. I've had a couple of students report similar results, but I'm going to share with you this particular result. There was one student who shared with me that she had spent about $50 in ads to build up her email list, and she started emailing daily, and she was able to close a $1,400 deal within like about a week's time or so, okay? So $50 in ads to $1,400. I would take that all day long. $50 to $1,400, right? Done. Here's the thing though. This $50 in ads means that she showed this ad to people, thousands and thousands of people on Facebook, and thousands of them said no. Then of this $50, however many that got, people were on her email list, only one of them said yes to what she was offering. So it could maybe there's 100 people on her email list, maybe there's 50 people on her email list. I don't actually know that specific detail off the top of my head. You have to be okay with understanding that most people are wrong, and most people just aren't a good fit. If you can, and you can hold out for premium clients, they are there, okay? All you need really is like the guidance on how to set up a system or set up the prospecting methods, or to what kind of, like, all the stuff we just talked about, like how do you get testimonials? How do you get all of these different things? How do you do everything that Mike just talked about and the specifics and all that? As long as you can emotionally be okay with that. Okay? So, my dear friends, good? Everyone happy with that? Oh man, I got marker all over my hands. Okay, before we get to questions, everything that we just talked about, I want to share with you the No Pants Academy. I'm so excited. Okay. Everything we've done in the past 3 days, it's been like 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours of training that we've done in the past couple of days, has been for me to share with you all sorts of cool knowledge, and I hope it helped you, and I hope it served you, and I hope at least some of you get some result out of it, right? But it's time for me to share with you a project that we have been working on for a very, very, very long time called the No Pants Academy. Now, I'm so excited for this because if you think about everything that I just shared with you today and yesterday, and all the different steps that there are to take to getting the premium clients, you'll find that almost every time you get new information, it's like the next step, there's more information to get, right? And one of the difficulties in being a self-employed person is that how do you filter through all of the different pieces of information? Okay, so Mike gave me 6 or 7 hours of training. Now what? Okay. What we have done, and Ron and Kate McKnight, who I'm going to talk a little bit more about here in a second, for the past couple of months, have been studiously watching the questions that pop up in the open Facebook group, that pop up in the coaching group, that pop up in Fast Client Getting Workshop, that are coming from these Facebook Lives, and we've put together what is a closed community, okay? And what I mean by closed community is the only way you can get in is if you pay some money. Okay, we're like, let's be straight up here. I'm selling you something, okay? So let's get out of the way. Don't worry, it's going to be way less than you think it is, okay? This is not like a big premium product here. The No Pants Academy. Because we have been listening, we have in secret gone out and interviewed experts in the individual areas that you have questions in, so that imagine your life path as a freelancer is a step at a time. So first you got to step here, and then you got to step here, and maybe this is getting your first client, right? And then maybe it's after that, I don't know, getting another second client and learning how to manage your time and how to do all these different things. This is what your lifelong journey will be. Another way to think about it is, if each of these steps has a door, okay? Those are doors, okay? I'm not a graphic designer. Let's be straight about that. And in order for you to get to the next step, you have to be able to go through the door. And the way that you go through the door is that you take all of the information that's out there and you compress it down into the thing you need to do right then and there in that moment, so that you can take the appropriate step. In other words, you need and I'm so bad at drawing, I should just stop. That's a key, okay? I don't even know if you guys can see it. The key for the door. Now, some of you know that I was homeless, and a lot of you know that the way that I got out of homelessness was because I went to the library. What we have been working on is essentially a library of keys for you. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's inside the No Pants Academy, so that you fully understand what it is exactly that we have here. But I want you to conceptualize it as a closed community, a place where we can all hang out and be together and support each other. That is essentially a library full of keys where you just get to walk around, you take a key, you go to the door you need to go to, you open it, you put the key back, because that's the decent thing to do in a library. You walk through that door and then you get to the next door and you go to the library, you get your key and you go like that. That's what the No Pants Academy is, okay? Here's how it's broken up. We have what's called the stacks. I love it. This is probably the coolest thing, because what the stacks is we've actually gone out and found experts to answer the questions for you. So for example, right now in our stack section, we have someone someone who used to was writing free articles, and then so from writing free articles to writing for Rolling Stone with Ryan Reed, how to design your life and boost your business. Everything U.S. freelancers need to know about taxes. Everything Canadian freelancers need to know about taxes. How to use local events, tips and tricks for building your freelancer website, how to build relationships, power positioning, how to make $1,000 an hour, expert strategies. These are all interviews that we've done based off of questions from our beta students. So the stacks are us advocating on your behalf for questions you have. So if you're standing in front of a door and you're like, you guys, please help, I need the key to this door. You submit it through a little process that we have. It's really cool. It's all fancy. You type in your little question, and then we receive that question. Then we go find someone who can answer that. And because you have submitted that question, now the whole group gets to benefit from your curiosity. So the stacks is like, we got it broken up already, and it's growing organically. So we've got like freelancing 101, like tech and software questions, skills to pay the bills, as we call it, traffic marketing, all of the different things that you need to be successful. Okay. And now my mustache is getting very itchy. I don't know why. Okay. Then we have what's called the computer lab, just like a real library, right? We are a bunch of book nerds in here. Okay. So if you're not into books, no, I'm just kidding. All right. The computer lab. This is really, really cool too, because the computer lab is, again, when you submit questions, some of these questions are just like super simple. Our own staff can take care of those. So it'll be like downloadable PDFs. Like I think I saw one fly by the other day where it's like 8 steps to getting your Facebook pixel set up or something like that. So it's like little downloadable PDFs you can take away and be like, okay, perfect. Like quick action, what's something, whatever it is that you have a question of, super cool computer lab. Also, again, this is sort of like staff-generated stuff, so we have quick video trainings too, right? And we'll talk about Ron and Kate and their awesome role in all of this here in a second, but like if you have a question about, hey, I'm really struggling with how do I integrate this with this, or hey, guys, what do I do if a client says this? There'll be little video trainings, little downloadable skills, all that kind of cool stuff. And then the last part, that is the No Pants Academy, which I'm really, really excited for, is the study room. Aren't we so clever? No, this is actually Ron and Kate. These are their ideas, okay? So give them all props. The study room is where, this is really, really cool. I'm like really excited. I honestly almost just thought about like, let's just make the No Pants Academy this one thing, just the study room. But here's what you have in it: a book club. So we're going to do book reviews. We're going to have book suggestions. We might even do book giveaways from time to time. So there's a book club in it. Then you've got monthly challenges. So if you're the kind of person who really likes doing challenges with other people, you're going to get those. And then lastly, this is just like the hangout zone. So a lot of times I'm having to dump the trailer brake air too. It's an opportunity for you to be with other freelancers who are serious about what they're doing, right? And to network in a safe place. That is, we're going to be there, hanging out in there. We're going to answering questions and all that kind of stuff. So it's also where, like, if ever we do an interview where there's like a Q&A where you get to like ask questions of the people themselves, like these experts that we get for the stacks, this is where you get to go hang out and like ask those questions. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the link to purchase this if you want it. But first, I want to talk about two other things. So hang tight. And it's not a trick. I'm like just realizing just now, it's like the first time I've seen it all on a piece of paper. We're basically giving the whole kitchen sink for this thing, okay? So I still have more things to get through. Now, if you purchase this before tonight, so if you buy before midnight tonight, I'm actually going to give you guys Fast Client Getting Workshop. And airbags, right? Didn't you say okay, so you'll get Fast Client Getting Workshop. That's the one where people are getting tons of results, getting clients super quickly. You order by midnight tonight, you get it. It's normally $400 or $1,000, depending on how we package it, but let's just say $400 for now. And you get it tonight as part of your entry into the No Pants Academy. If you order by midnight tonight. After that, unfortunately, this is just for those early movers, like the get goers, the go getters, the get goers. Okay, so that's the one that we've got tonight, and then if you order by tomorrow at midnight, we have a really cool case study by one of our coaches. It's called the 72-hour case study, and it is a walkthrough of how he uses just Facebook groups to get clients, and pretty good paying ones, within about 72 hours. Okay, so order by midnight tonight, get Fast Client Getting Workshop. Order by midnight tomorrow, you get 72-hour challenge. If you order tonight, you get both. Got it? Okay. Now, if you order by when this offer is closing, because we're not going to keep this open forever, but if you order by January 29th at midnight, I'm going to do a private masterclass with just those people who order within this time frame on the six-figure plan for 2018. So this is a month-by-month breakdown of what you need to do if your goal is to still hit, we have 11 months left, 6 figures in your freelancing business. It's a masterclass. It's going to be an interactive masterclass, closed only for those who are in this program right now. Okay? So does that sound good? I mean, we really did put everything we had into this thing. Okay? So I'm going to give you the URL right now. I'm going to write it up here, and then I'm going to drop it in the link below. Here's how much we're charging for it. Is the suspense killing? So mean. I'm so mean. Okay, it's actually only $30. So for $30, you can get in, and it is a monthly membership. So if you want to continue to be a part of it, it's just $30. It's literally $1 a day, except for on leap year when in February when it's like either more than $1, it's like $1.25 a day or something, right? So for $30, you can get into the No Pants Academy. To get it, let's see. And Ron and Kate are probably going to be answering a bunch of y'all's questions. So if you guys have questions about this program, please ask, like straight up right away. They are here to answer your questions. To get it, I'm going to throw this into the chat box really quick. That is the link, my friends. The NoPantsAcademy.com/start. The No Pants. Oh, see, I do this every time I try to write a URL on here. The No Pants Academy.com/start. Everyone who is in the No Pants Project coaching program, do not purchase this, okay? You guys have it already. It's part of one of the bonuses that you, one of our unannounced bonuses when you sign up, you actually have lifetime access to the No Pants Academy. Okay, my friends? So this is it. $30, and what you get is go. You're going to get the stacks, which is basically you ask a question, we go find the expert gives you the best possible answer there is, because we've got a whole team that's behind getting these interviews. We're even looking at hiring more people to do more interviews. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff in the works about the stacks. We already have a couple up there. So it's literally the stacks is your place to get expert answers to your questions. And that's all it is, right? It's really, really simple. We also have the computer lab, which is basically that same concept, but bite-sized stuff that our staff can easily answer, right? So our writers, our freelancers, our coaches, whatever that might be, they'll answer those in either PDF form or in a little video form. And then, of course, we have the study room, and this is where the book club happens, the monthly challenges happen, the hangout zone happen. I've already forgotten to mention that we have a Thursday night. Every Thursday night, we do a Thursday night hangout session where we just ask questions, answer questions. Ron and Kate are the ones who do that, which brings me to Ron and Kate. So Ron and Kate are freelancers that I have worked with for, I don't know, what has it been, you guys, like 2 or 3 years. I consider them mentees of mine, so I have contributed in a small way, like a very small way, to their freelancing career. But I know them, I love them, I trust them. They are the librarians of the No Pants Academy. Literally, their whole role in the No Pants world is to make sure that you are taken care of. And let me tell you guys something. I am hard on them, okay? So I am hard on them because I really, really care about what we're doing here. I've got that big, grand vision. And so they have put in a ton of work to get this ready for you guys. And they're going to continue to put in work to make sure that this is the absolute best investment for those of you who are serious about your freelancing career. If you order by midnight tonight, so it's January 24th, it's a Wednesday. If you order by tonight, you'll get the Fast Client Getting Workshop completely free. If you order by tomorrow, you'll get the 72-hour challenge completely free. If you order by tonight, you'll actually get both of these. And then if you order by January 29th at midnight, which is when this is likely going to be over anyways, you'll get the 6-Figure Plan Masterclass, which is where we'll hang out and we'll talk about all the different stuff and, really just kind of give you the step-by-step plan for when you need to, what you need to do to get to where you want to go to in 2018. It costs exactly $30, which is crazy cheap. I can pretty solidly promise you that this is about as inexpensive as we can possibly make it in order for us to essentially cover our own costs. So we ain't getting rich off $30, let me tell you, right? Okay. To go there, go to nopantsacademy.com/start. That is how you can get into our program. I'd love for you guys to hang out with us. You've seen over the past couple days what can happen just mentally when you are introduced to new ideas. And for the past 3 days, it's just been me. Like, I'm the only one standing here like a goofball with a pen and, just like standing in front of it, and here's my ideas. What I love about the No Pants Academy is it's not just me, right? Like, you guys are going to get to hear from a bunch of different people. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, when we talked about the 12 immutable laws. One of the things that we talked about is mentorship, right? So how do you find a mentor? How do you get connected with mentors? How do you ask for mentorship? The No Pants Academy is kind of our response to that problem, which we see a lot of freelancers have, is how do you buddy up against people who are really experienced and like are doing what you want to do? Like, if you're a designer, how do you get to listen to other designers that are making the money you want to make and living the lifestyle you want to do and working on the projects you want to work on and building the lifestyle that you want to build, how do you get connected with them? Well, our answer to that problem, our attempt in helping to solve that, is the No Pants Academy. Is this idea where you could go somewhere, submit a question, and get it answered by essentially mentors, right? And that's just one of the aspects of this program, okay? So again, what to take that sort of idea further is that Ron and Kate, who I have mentored for several years now, this is kind of their opportunity now to step up, right? It's that sort of like circle of life thing, right? And they are going to organize in an efficient manner, helping you guys get the access to the people that you need. That's what's so cool and exciting, is that Ron and Kate have already been through that mentorship process. They know what it's like to be frustrated for a minute and then be like, oh, I can just ask someone, and then ask someone, get the clarity, and literally like next day, with that clarity, put it into action, do something about it, and then be on their way, either getting the results that they wanted to get or at least on their way to getting the results that they want to get. So again, $30, excuse me, it's just $30 every 30 days. So you order now, and if you want to cancel at any time, send us an email. No big deal. The email should be all over the pages. Like we're trying to hide it from you or nothing. It's in the program how you can cancel. There's no contracts. There's nothing like this. It's literally $30. Get in, hang out with us, ask questions, consume the information, build the community. There's already, let me see how many people there's already in here. We had a little beta kind of launch thing a while ago, closed off. Had a bunch of people in there. It is, just checking out here real quick. There are already, there's already like 128 people in there. So the joint is jumping already, right? So there's a lot of serious people, and they're no pants style. Right? So you know how I operate. I'm full transparency as much as I possibly can be. You know that I will do anything to fight for a place where you can go to have a safe, supportive environment and that you can get the information that you need. The No Pants Academy is not going to be any different at all. Just there's going to be more people there to help you than before, basically, right? You pay to have more people help you get to where you want to go, okay? So my friends, let me see if there are any questions that I can answer. I think Ron and Kate are probably answering a bunch of your Natalia says, so just to clarify, people in the No Pants Project coaching already have access to the entire No Pants Academy already. That is correct. If you are part of my coaching program, the $1,000 program, you already have lifetime access to the No Pants Academy for free. That's one of the unannounced bonuses, which I have just now announced for those of you who are not in the $1,000 program, that this is already there, part of that. So Lauren says, how do I access it if I'm already in the No Pants Project? All you have to do is go to your membership dashboard, go to the left-hand side, go all the way down, and it says bonuses. Click on bonuses. If you haven't clicked on that yet, it's going to be quite a surprise for you. There's quite a few bonuses in there. And click on No Pants Academy, and then that's where you'll be taken to your login and all that kind of good stuff. Let's see. Okay, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and jump into Q&A for the book giveaways and for the Amazon gift card giveaways. I'm going to leave this up. If you have questions, I'm going to focus right now on questions from our training. Ron and Kate will answer most of your questions about the program. But let me go ahead and get to these questions because we have been on for a minute. So I want to make sure those of you who are waiting for book giveaways, have an opportunity to get those as well as the Amazon gift card. So if you have questions, load them up and we will get to them. And for those of you who don't know yet, Hannah Kingsley is a kind and beautiful soul. And every time I do these Facebook Lives, she's not a member of our team. Like, although I'm starting to consider it, she makes a book list. And so she has put up the book list of what the books are that we are giving away and that I recommend for those of you who are interested in what those books are. Okay, Alex. Excellent question, my friend. And I'm going to give you Alex, D-A-I-G-L-E. I'm so bad at names, you guys. Alex asks a very good question. I'm actually going to give him this book, or I'm going to give you, Alex, talking about you like you're not there. Okay, that was very rude of me. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. His question is very, very good. It is, how do you walk the fine line between being aware of your potential client's psychological makeup and being able to help them without basically like being psychologically intrusive and manipulative? And he says, I know that empathy is the key here, but if you could clear it up for me, that'd be great. It's very, very simple, Alex. Think about this. You know what your friends like, and how do you treat them? Right? So when you are having conversations with them, are you psychologically manipulating them when you are trying to convince them to go out to the movies with you? Are you manipulating and being psychologically intrusive when you are trying to help them make a decision about their life? Like if they come to you for advice, it's not about. So here's the key really on how to avoid being psychologically manipulative. It's positioning, meaning have a system for getting clients or a way to get clients or a philosophy of getting clients or a process for getting clients, whatever you want to call it, so that when they come to you, it is that doctor diagnosis thing instead of I am a salesperson, right? So what I mean by that is position yourself so that when people come to you, they're coming to you for advice. Just like right now, Alex, you're asking me my honest opinion, and I'm giving you my honest opinion. Now, when you can understand, let's go back here really quick, and then I'll flip back over here. When you can truly emotionally accept that I wrote too many things on too many pages, if you can emotionally accept these numbers, what it means, Alex, and I'm going to say some things, and I don't mean to be offensive, but I can help you, Alex, without me worrying about whether you buy something from me or not. Because I know it's highly likely that you won't. 98% of the people that I'm going to talk to are going to say no. So I don't have to manipulate you. I don't have to trick you. I don't have to be psychologically intrusive. I just have to do this part, right? Like that's the thing that works. 4 out of 780. I mean, that's a bit, right? And there are ways that you can do that. Build up your email list, email it every day, do things like this where you can scale and mass your ability to serve and help other people. But really, it's how do you not psychologically manipulate them? It's being emotionally okay enough to be what's called outcome independent, meaning I'm going to help you, Alex, whether you ever buy anything from me or not. Because I know the numbers are bad, but they're there. The numbers are bad, but they're there. And I'm emotionally okay with that. And so I operate my business as such. The people who have a hard time and they strain to get clients are the ones who think that every single person you talk to has to turn into a client. And when that happens, they are emotionally not yet accepting of the reality of what actually getting clients is. Like you have to talk to a lot of people before anyone says yes. That's it. And again, not necessarily one-on-one conversations. They can be scaled conversations, but positioning is how you do that, Alex. Excellent question. How to win friends and influence people. Please, Alex, reach out to help@thenopantsproject.com and we will answer that question for you. One of the things you guys are going to find out in the No Pants Academy, nopantsacademy.com/start if you guys want to get in for $30. Again, buy before midnight and you get the Fast Client Getting Workshop. One of the things that you'll find in this particular program is when we interview these successful freelancers, again and again, you'll hear what I just said of this kind of like release of outcome dependency to where every little thing has to matter. And if you don't get it perfect, you will honestly pay the $30 to get in just so you can see what the really successful people are doing. And then like, you don't even have to do the second month because you'll walk away and be like, oh, these guys are not nearly as perfect as I thought they were. Like they are really just going out there and making mistakes and having and whatever, right? So anyways, just want to throw that in there. Okay, this is an excellent question, Charles. Let's see if I've got a good book for this. Charles, Paquin. Okay, you guys, listen up. I bet a bunch of you are in this same boat. Okay, Charles, let me see what books I got here. Oh, yes, this is the perfect one. Okay, Charles, I'm going to send you The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, okay? This one I think you will like because it describes a lot of what you're talking about. So what Charles is basically asking, it's a beautifully written question, but I'll paraphrase it here for a second. He's basically, I work 40 hours a week, a government employee, 2 hours of daily bus commute back and forth. He's soaking up as much information as he possibly can. Knowledge is so addictive that I often find myself doing very little because I want to know more. I suppose that learning is part of doing. He says, I know how to pace myself and I experimented a few things, built my website, tried writing cold emails to potential clients, following up, but I don't want to waste energy where I shouldn't be wasting energy. When do I stop listening and gather knowledge? Stop listening and gathering knowledge. And when do I start finding time to do things? So, shameless plug for the No Pants Academy, but that's basically what the No Pants Academy is built for, okay? Shameless plug, over. Okay, so like I said, finding the one key that you need and going in and getting just that information and taking the next step, that's what this is all about. However, there is a few things that I want you to hopefully hear, Charles, Slight Edge, from this. It's very, very simple. And my nose is itchy so bad. Okay. I think when you say, when do I stop listening and gathering knowledge, and when do I start finding time to do things? I think one of the most important things to have shift in your mind is that it's never a binary choice. It's never learn or do. That would be the first thing that I would start with. To understand that when you say I don't want to waste energy where I shouldn't be wasting energy, one of the big things that I find distressing about the productivity world is that often productivity is about more, and we forget about learning experiences. Like productivity, as taught by most people, is all about perfection from the first get-go, and if you know, like, it's very intense. It's very, frankly, it's impossible. I don't actually know. I worked with productivity and high-performance experts, like the top-level guys, and they don't even live their own teachings in that regard. So the first thing to understand is that there is no such thing as wasted energy. That there isn't when you are building a business. And that's because on those steps that you have to take to get to where you have to go, it's all learning. meaning the only thing that's standing between you here at this step and you here at this top step is really, and I do mean this truthfully, is work done and acted on certain pieces of knowledge that you have gained. Meaning, I'm able to get clients because of what I know more than any other thing. Like, I know how to get them, I know where they are, I know like all of these sorts of things. However, some of this knowledge cannot be consumed. It can only be experienced. So if you're the kind of person who's like consuming, and not getting anywhere, as like from a 20,000 foot view where you're looking at your life and you're like, man, I know a bunch of stuff, but I'm not getting anywhere. It's because the gaps in knowledge, the steps that are missing are the experiential steps, right? It's like some things you can only learn by doing. I didn't know how much I could love something until I had my first child. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I've read books, I've watched all the movies, I've done all of the things that talk about love, and it until I experienced it, you just can't name it, right? That's why in the No Pants Academy we have the challenges. It's because, yes, come learn all this stuff, but we got to push you to do something, to make something. So I want to challenge you. Let's see. I want to challenge you, Charles. Sorry, I think I lost your question here. I just want to challenge you to rethink this idea of either or. And then I'm going to give you this book because honestly, the answer to that question is in this book. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. Okay, you guys, we still have 3 books and 2 gift cards. So let's rock and roll. Okay, this is totally a side thing because Matthew is in our No Pants Project program and he asks a really good question. He says, where do you generally look for mentors to help you along the way? Actually, you know what, Matthew? I'm going to send you a gift card. Matthew Elliott. Oops. We're going to send you a gift card for this one, Matt. He says, where do you generally look for mentors? Let me tell you my progression. At first, it was books. And it was a library card. That's all I could afford. Books and a library card. That's it. After that, it was like communities. So I had kind of like gotten myself known in a certain community and they wanted to hang out, like Facebook groups, types of like private invitation Facebook group type thing. Recently, in the past probably like 2.5, 3 years, where my biggest gains have occurred, has simply been I've paid for them. There are really good coaches for just about everything. One of the ones I highly recommend for you copywriters out there is a guy named David Garfinkel. He was my copywriting coach, mentor. He's cool because he really was like a true mentor, not just here's how to improve your sales copy. That's been my progression. Books and YouTube videos until I could afford the next step, bootstrapping my way all the way to the top. Okay. Let's see. I'm just cruising through some questions. Oh my gosh, you guys are so helpful. You guys are so helpful. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, Rich Reed. This is a good question. Rich Reed, I'm going to give you a good book. It's one of my flavor flaves. Persuasion. So Rich Reed asks, how do you doctor diagnose? Oh, here's the book, by the way. Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Really cool name. He wrote Influence. I don't know if you guys know that book. I like this one because it's about all of the things you basically do before you start asking people for stuff. Because so many people use influence tactics and techniques to kind of be jerks, really. Which I guess is cool for them. I mean, if that's the way they want to go, but I really like being able to sleep at night. That's like really important to me. And also I've got a kid. You want to know how cool this book is, why I like this book? Okay, so here's how thick the whole book is. See if I can tilt it the right way. Here's the reference section. Okay, so I like people who do a little bit of research before they start blabbing on. So really good book. I'm going to send that to you, Rich Reed. So your question is, how do you doctor diagnose without giving everything away so that they don't need you? He says, I gave a potential client all he needed to know and he never got back to me. So here's the thing. When you doctor diagnose, you're not there to give them. So you go to a doctor's appointment, for example, they don't do the surgery right then and there. They say, here's your problems. Here's the symptoms of those problems. Here's what will happen when you fix those problems. Here are your choices for fixing those problems, right? Now, we go back to Alex's question earlier of like, well, how do you do that without manipulating and being a jerk and being sleazy? It's very, very simple. If I sat here for the next 6 hours and just spouted all of my freelancing information, less than 1% of you would do anything about it. And it's not because you didn't buy it. It's not because any of that other stuff. It's because it's too much at once. What happens is a lot of, imagine if you got, and this is going to be terrible, but imagine if you were diagnosed with a really bad illness. And in that 15-minute consultation, the doctor was like, just laid it on thick. And he's like, and then this is going to happen, 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 and then this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And he explained everything that was going to happen. And he's talking about, and you're going to do this, and then this jug is going to come over here. You would just be sitting there like, what? What's happening? Like, I don't know. You just told me some crazy news. So it's really about pacing and giving that potential client the opportunity to make the choice themselves. I think what happens too often in these calls that people have with potential clients is that they listen and then they say, you should do this. Instead of saying, here's what I think is the problem. Here's what will happen when you fix that problem. And here's a couple of options that you have for dealing with that problem. I'll give you some space to make a choice. Because it's because we don't know all of the data, Rich, it's also possible that they heard the solution, and because it was like on the spot and because it wasn't slow enough for them, meaning they didn't have the time to think about it, it maybe made sense in your mind, but it didn't make sense in their mind, that they just were like, this is too much. Like that could also be a reason that they don't get back to you, just as much as you telling them something. I made this mistake, you guys. Oh my gosh. I had this client. I won't name their names, but, not a client. They didn't become a client, a prospect. And I was so nervous. And this was within like the past year and a half. And I was so nervous because I wanted to work with them. It was like childhood dream coming true type stuff. And they flew me out to where I was supposed to meet with them. And I don't ever fly out for anybody. But like, so probably then and there I should have like known that this was going to be a botched job. But, so I flew out and I went to their place and we got this really cool, like WeWork, and it was a beautiful place and it was really cool. And I get up there and they're like, tell us what to do. And I broke all of my own rules because I didn't figure out what their problem was. I was just so nervous. I was just like, they want to know what I think. And so for like 45 minutes, I went on this presentation and I could see their eyes like glazing over, and I didn't get the job because all I did was just pounded them with information instead of listening, diagnosing, and then offering potential prescriptions in that regard. So hopefully that helps you, Sir Rich. Okay, Micah, that's an excellent question. And I am going to send you this book. Man, it's crazy how this works out. Okay, Micah's question, it's MICHANOORDEGRAAF. He asks, how would you earn the trust of a potential premium client when you're just starting out and don't have any previous clients or projects to show off your brilliance? Impossible to ignore, creating memorable content to influence decisions. I'm going to send this to you, whether you are a content creator or not. The concepts in this book of becoming impossible to ignore will serve you well. But let me give you the quick answer to that, Micah. Here's the deal. Not every demonstration of power has to be about a client. True or not true, what I've just done here in this Q&A, in the teaching that I've done, feels a little bit like a demonstration of power. For some, remember at one point we had like 115 people on here and they've come and gone and they filtered in and out. For some people, they had a miracle tonight. It was a miracle breakthrough. It was a miracle way of looking at something to where now tomorrow is going to be different. Things have changed for them. So, Micah, if you don't have the experience and client stories to talk about to show off your brilliance, then you just need to speak it. And it doesn't have to be on video. It can be in the daily email. It can be in a blog post if you want to do it that way, although blogs are getting more and more difficult to do. The idea is simply take your knowledge, take the things that you know about, and speak them. I recommend building an email list and sending it daily and in a way of serving and trying to help people. That's probably the most efficient way to scale it, meaning talking to as many people as possible. But that's really the answer. And then it just comes down to continual. If you watch Monday's video, we talked about the 12 immutable laws of freelancing success. One of those is the law of mastery, which is to say to commit yourself to getting better a little bit every single day. That will serve you absolutely. Okay. We have one more book to give away and 2 Amazon gift cards. So I still got 3 more questions, but I want to remind everybody to check out the nopantsacademy.com/start. $30 per month is all it costs. You can get in right now. Cancel at any time. I feel like I'm on a PBS pledge drive right now. But seriously, this program, you guys, I promise, the nopantsacademy.com/start is going to be amazing. To recap, for those of you who missed it, here's what's in our program. Ron and Kate McKnight, who are mentees of mine, freelancers that I've worked with for a long time, well, not a long time, but for a length of time, a long time. They are our librarians, okay? So if you are someone who feels like you're looking for some guidance, some specific pieces of information to help you get to whatever that next level is in your freelancing business, I want you to take a look at some of these things that we have in there for you. So it's called the stacks, which basically, if you have a question, we will go find an expert to answer it for you. And it'll turn into this big interview and it'll be awesome and cool. And Ron and Kate are there to advocate on your behalf. They are there to fight for you when you don't even want to fight for yourself. They will be there working hard to help you get what you want out of your freelancing business. And trust me, you guys, there is no problem too big or too small that we are not going to fight for. Those of you who are in the No Pants Project coaching program, you know how we roll, right? So that's the stacks. Next, you have the computer lab, which is basically that same idea, but if it's like stuff that we can answer for you, we're just going to answer it for you really quick in like a PDF or a video or some other kind of mini training that are more like actionable type item things. The stacks is more kind of like an interview with the expert. Maybe there'll be some Q&As, things like that. This is a computer lab. Additionally, we have the study room, and the study room is an online community where you get to hang out with everybody. Ron and Kate do a Thursday night hangout where they'll just answer your questions. They'll literally just like turn on the camera and be like, what do you want to know? Right? It's really cool. And then we've got a book club. We're going to do monthly challenges so that, like we were talking to Charles earlier about taking that knowledge, the appropriate knowledge, and turning it into something, turning into some kind of actionable item. And then we have, of course, it's just like the hangout zone. We're all going to hang out, all pop in there and do, stuff from time to time. If you guys want to hang out and do a Q&A in there, it's all cool and gravy. We can do that. If you get in by midnight tonight, you will get access to the Fast Client Getting Workshop, which is in exactly, so this is midnight Pacific, so you got 5 hours to decide whether you want to get in for $30. If you buy by, you also get the 72-hour case study challenge, which is an example of one of our freelancers who uses just Facebook groups to get, I think he made like $1,000 within that first 72 hours. And it's all documented. You can see how we do that. If you buy by midnight tomorrow. These are all Pacific Standard Times. If I was a decent person, I would have said that before. But Pacific Standard Times, because that's my time zone. And then January 29th at midnight, if you buy by then, you will get access to a masterclass with just me and everybody who buys in between now and then. These are mini master classes, so we're going to have a real master class, and it's like a couple different sessions over the course of the month, and there'll be Q&As and all kinds of good stuff. It's a lot more intimate. So for those of you who have been missing your questions these past couple weeks, that's a good way to, there's not going to be as many people, obviously, right? Why? Because remember, 98% of the people, most people watching this aren't going to buy the No Pants Academy. That's how the business runs. That's how it works. And I ain't going to fret about it. For those of you who jump in at $30, No Pants Academy /start is how you can get in it. I'm super, super excited for you to jump in there and be awesome with us and hang out with us and help to grow that community. I can promise you that within 60 days, we are going to be bumping this up to $50 a month. If you get in now, you will be locked in at $30 a month forever. My goal is eventually to have the No Pants Academy .com/start have so much in it, meaning the product itself is like so big and awesome that we go beyond $50 a month, that it's priced at a more premium price. But if you get in before February 1st, you will lock in the $30 per month grandfathered price forever and ever and ever. Let's see. I'm going to check something, y'all. Okay, so we still have another book and then 2 more dealios to give away, 2 more gift cards to give away. Thank you all for hanging out. I know it's late on the East Coast. I know it's late. I love you so much. You guys are the best. My son does this really cool thing now. I love him. He's the best. My son does this thing now where he's like, if I do something that he likes, he'll just be like, Dad, you're the best. And I'm telling you, man, my heart just goes. It's easy to feel like a superhero when you've got a really cool little kid cheering you on. Okay, my friends, it looks like people are signing up. I'm loving this. I won't call out your names because I'm not that kind of person who's going to put anyone on the spot, but I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, lots of sales coming in. So thank you all of you who are signing up to the NoPantsAcademy.com /start. If you're part of the No Pants Project program, coaching program. You do not need to pay this money. It is lifetime access is already a part of that. That's $1,000 program. But this one's just $30. So if you guys want to get in, now is definitely the time. You'll get all kinds of bonuses. We're trying to make this as sweet as possible. And now I'm just getting crazy at this point. I try to maintain some kind of like professional demeanor, but I got to give this book away. Who wants it? Let me see. For those of you who I have given books away to already, please reach out to help@thenopantsproject.com. We will get that sorted for you. Someone says PBS, please be super. Yeah, it does feel a little bit like a pledge drive. And your support, you'll get a sticker in the mail or whatever. I love PBS though. It's the best. Ron says manatees. Marissa says she just joined. Awesome, Marissa. I'm super excited. We're going to have fun. You guys, it has to be fun. This business, this is the kind of business where if it starts to like feel like it's grinding, something's wrong. Either the people you're working with aren't the right people, the service you're doing isn't the right service. The cool thing about freelancing is that it is flexible, right? So, I mean, what I do now is not what I started doing because I had that step-by-step process of self-discovery, getting myself to the point where, you know, I feel pretty good now about my business. It feels pretty smooth. It feels pretty, you know, it's not this hectic, frantic, you know, crazy shenanigans. So, yeah, it's a good place to be. Super happy for you, Marissa. We're going to have a lot of fun. This is a very good question, Laura. Laura, I'm going to send you a gift card. Laura, Lalinde. This is a very good question and one that should be addressed. Amazon GF. All right, Laura. Laura asks, if I'm planning to be as successful as these clients, will I end up with the same issues that they have? So if you remember from the oh, geez, this is yesterday's. Okay. The very, very beginning of today's training extravaganza, I listed the psychology of people who are fairly successful. And Laura is looking at this list in probably a negative way. I want to right now try, Laura, to actually help to spin this in a positive way. Being proud of what you do. And one of the other things I wanted to make sure is that when I say successful, I don't mean like nasty rich, right? I'm not talking about the jerks who take advantage of people. To me, a premium client is someone I want to work with as a human being, okay? Now, where they are financially is not even secondary. It's like 10th on the scale, but premium clients are the people who value you enough to pay you the money that you are that you should get, right? Because of what you contribute. Now, with that in mind, clients have lessons to learn too. One of the lessons you have to learn as a client, as I've learned many, many times myself when I was very first starting, is that you get what you pay for, right? And so part of them being burned and being battle scarred and having to bootstrap their own way and having this sort of skepticism because of their experiences in hiring in the past is because of the mistakes that they made themselves, right? So Laura, like if you already know that, you get what you pay for, and when I hire people, I'm not going to have to, I'm never going to undercharge. I'm not going to try to squeeze anybody. You can avoid some of this as well, right? What I'm talking about is the people, the premium clients who will pay you well enough and respect you well enough to treat you well, typically have this psychological profile. I can say with confidence, Laura, you will develop battle scars when you grow in freelancing. You will, I promise, at some point, if you haven't already, get a bad client. Hopefully, you just have to get that bad client once. You fire them immediately, and then you move on. But that's still a battle scar. It's still a mistake that happened, right? That's going to happen. Now, when I say pride, this is why I don't like using the pride, because there's like a subset, there's like a cultural subset right now of like everyone, like there's a cultural subset right now in the zeitgeist where it's like very trendy to tear anybody down who feels any positive feelings about themselves. I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. But when I mean pride, I mean like pride in craft, pride in what you've built, feeling good about the things that you have made, feeling positive about yourself because you overcame the things that gave you the battle scars. I don't view this as a negative at all. If anything, I just view this as like, understand that that's how they feel about these things. So when you're talking to them about it, it's not like this weird thing you have to tiptoe around. They're proud of the fact that they're a survivor, that they're persistent, that they're able to overcome these things to get where they get. Too many freelancers come into this situation and the freelancer's like, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. I'm smart. I know more than you because I've had one other client. And that is a huge turnoff to these people because you're basically beating them on the head saying you don't know anything, right? So you will have battle scars. Hopefully you'll develop positive feelings about what you've overcome, things you've learned. Hopefully that pride will lead you to share it with other people, to help lift other people up as well. You will develop social circles of other freelancers. And you'll sit in a coffee shop and you'll look at each other and you'll just kind of like, I had a bad client email. And you'll kind of like laugh about it. There's no difference here. You will eventually develop a grand vision for yourself. If you don't already have one now, of you have a specific way you want to live your life. And because you are able to be persistent and develop sort of the confidence that comes from, I just overcame something, this vision will intensify. You'll realize like, I really can do almost anything, right? So that's the grand vision. Skepticism, honestly, I just recommend people be skeptical, period. Like, don't trust everything that you hear. It's hard for me not to be like ranting right now, but don't trust everything that you hear, right? So be skeptical, be smart, think the things through. And loyalty, I mean, to me, loyalty is unbelievably important. If you want to be cut out of my life, be disloyal. I mean, this is for me, and I paid pretty well. If people follow up on their end of the bargain, this is my biggest one, loyalty. And then consuming different information. I hope, Laura, that you are already consuming different information than not average, but then the regular, middle American person who watches 4+ hours a day of television. Because, I hope that you're doing that already. So I don't see this psychological makeup as a bad thing personally. But excellent question. I'm glad we addressed it. Everyone can make their own judgments on whether or not those are negative or positive traits. I'm no psychologist, and I'm certainly not a therapist. I don't even pretend to be one on TV, as my dad would always say. Okay, my friends, let's see what other questions you have. Looks like everyone's getting sleepy. Poor East Coasts. I love. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up at the time that y'all are showing up. I'm just cruising for some questions. Okay, Laura Atwell, you are our final question for the evening. Got 2 Lauras. Holy smokes. Laura Atwell, I'm sending you this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It is at the same time, frustrating and amazing book, because it's one of those books where you have to read it a couple times and then experience life and then read it a couple times more and then be like, that's what he meant. Think and Grow Rich. Okay. Laura says, every service has a first time you've ever offered it. So at some point you don't have experience doing it with a client. How do you minimize flip-flop on brand new things? It's very, very simple. You as a person, I'm going to draw this and we'll just keep this up. Okay. You as a person have like core beliefs. You have kind of like indecision beliefs, and then you have random thoughts that come into your head. The idea here is to understand that premium clients buy from people. And what a lot of freelancers do is they think that premium clients buy from information. So when we teach like the daily email, for example, I tell you to write a letter to a friend, not try to lecture a classroom of people. And it's because all those things that we talked about with like trust and making sure that you don't feel like you're going to get screwed and like all of these different things, what you want to do when you very first start out is literally only talk about this stuff, the stuff that you know, that's central to you, that is your, you could say, core beliefs about certain things. So for example, and let's be real honest here for a second. Most people's core beliefs are not based on experience, but they are based on other people telling them stuff. Okay, fine. You can use that in your business. If you are just starting out and you've never written a blog post for someone and you're trying to figure out how can I sell my blog post writing services, do what most people do with their beliefs. Go find other people who are consistently saying something and then say that must be the thing to say, and then make that one of your core beliefs. So for example, if you believe that frequency equals familiarity, or like we talked about earlier in the training, then you know, or then you can believe and talk about, look, if you want to be successful in content marketing, what you need to do is consistently post content, consistently connect with your audience. That's a very low commitment kind of central belief that you can say, yeah, I believe this. Out here on this sort of like I'm kind of testing is like this specific headline will get you the specific results that you need. Well, you're still kind of in that testing process, in that testing phase. And then passing thoughts are just like, I wonder if I put the word pizza in a blog post, it would work more, that kind of thing. So really it's about in the beginning, maybe talking about less, and waiting for the experience to catch up so that this core belief system expands. And then just recognizing that you're a human being and sometimes you will flip and flop. And when you do, acknowledge it and decrease the frequency that you flip and flop. That's all. Someday I'm going to have to tell my freelancers, don't do Facebook anymore. Because, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, something better than Facebook is going to come along, or Facebook's going to get too expensive, or we're no longer going to use email and instead we're just going to have a chip implanted into our minds, and that's how we're going to, life changes, of course, but it's about the frequency and then the acknowledgement that you have with your audience about that flip-flop back and forth type stuff. So, yeah. Hopefully that answers your questions. Okay, my good friends. I hope that was helpful. For those of you who won something, Alex, Charles, Matthew, Rich, Micah, Laura, please reach out to help@thenopantsproject.com and we will get you your prize, which are these books, and then we gave away one Amazon gift card, but the questions have slowed, so I'm going to go ahead and call it one Amazon gift card and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books is what our total count is for today. It is 2.5 hours into this bad boy. I want to run through this one more time for those of you who are still on the fence thinking about getting into the No Pants Academy, which I'm super excited for everyone who has already jumped in. Let's see if there's been any new people since I looked at it last. Click refresh. Oh my, yes, quite a few more people. Okay. Welcome, y'all, to the No Pants Academy. No Pants Academy is basically just our monthly membership. You've got the stacks, which are expert interviews. You'll get the computer lab, which is our attempt to answer your question in PDF or video form. You've got the study room, which is our community where it's got book club, monthly challenges, hangout zone. Ron and Kate are going to be your advocates. They're going to be your guides. They're going to be the people who are helping you take full advantage of this stuff that we've set up. You can ask questions at any time, and we will go either look for people to answer those questions or help you in the computer lab. If you order by midnight tonight, which is in exactly 4.5 hours, you will get access to Fast Client Getting Workshop. You'll also get the 72-hour challenge case study, and you'll also get the 6-figure plan masterclass, which you and I are going to do live together over the next 30 days in multiple sessions. But if you order by midnight tomorrow, you'll only get the 72-hour challenge and the 6-figure plan. And then if you order by the 29th, this is the last bonus that you'll get for bonuses. But you'll get all of this, the stacks, computer lab, and study room. That's all standard, including Thursday night hangouts. We might do Q&As. It's all kinds of good stuff. This is our intro beta testing pricing. This will not be our pricing in latest 60 days. We're going to do some testing on that. But if you get in now, you will get lifetime access at $30 a month, unless, of course, you cancel. This is a $30 per month program. No contracts. Cancel at any time. In and out, whatever you want to do. NoPantsAcademy.com/start is how you can get started and join us. We would love. We'd love to have you guys. We really would. We like what we do. Ron and Kate are awesome. They're going to take care of you guys in there. They put a lot of work into it. The team has put a lot of work into it. I mean, the videos don't edit themselves. So anyways. Alrighty, my good friends, I love you so much. It is 10:30 Eastern time. Oh my good gracious. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do reach out to us at help@thenopantsproject.com about your purchase of the No Pants Academy. Please do let us know. Those of you who are in the No Pants Project coaching program and who have joined us, please know that this is already part of your program that you have. You get lifetime access to this, so please do not buy this if you're part of our coaching program. Everybody else can get in at $30. NoPantsAcademy.com/start. The comment has been pinned that has that link as well. I love you guys so much. This has been a lot of fun these last 3 days. I will tell you, I am pooped. We're still going to do our live tomorrow, though, and we're still going to do our live on Friday. I'll be doing my live from Phoenix, where I am actually going to go meet with my mentor. So one of my mentors is Liz Benny, and we have a big mastermind with a bunch of other really cool people this weekend in Phoenix. I'm super excited. I'm going to come back from that. I'm going to take all that energy that we get from that, and I'm going to pour it into the No Pants Project, and the next 6 months are just going to be incredible. I'm super excited. Is there anything else? No. Okay. I think that's it, my friends. I am signing off. I love you guys. You have a good one. Take it easy. Take care of each other. Thank you, everyone who participates in these chat role things and in the group and all that kind of good stuff. You guys know how important it is to take care of each other. I will talk to you all later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.